Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right, so I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, Skycoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right.
Bad advice? You talking to me?
Kayak. Got that right.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
You know, honestly, you should just really ID anyone who looks under the age of 50 because there's nothing more flattering than getting ID'd at a bar.
These are the plaintiffs, Ron and Tracy Tabb. Ron says the defendant used to bartend for their restaurant, but left because she was accused of serving alcohol to a minor. The minor then drove her car, smashed it up, and was thrown from the vehicle. The Department of Alcohol Enforcement fined their restaurant $3,465. And that's just what they're suing the defendant for today. This is the defendant, Amber Marston. She says the girl she served was a regular at the bar, and all the bartenders gave this girl alcohol in the past. The girl started to give her attitude during the night, so she cut her off. Then she watched her go into a car as the passenger of someone who wasn't drinking that night, and they left. The fine levied by the Department of Alcohol was issued to the restaurant, not her, so it's not her responsibility to pay it. She's accused of serving up a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Ron Tabb and Tracy Tabb, you are suing Amber Marston, your former bartender, for $3,465, the amount of a fine that you received from the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for serving an underage patron. Tell me what happened.
Well, we had, Amber was working for us beginning December of 2011, and...
You own a bar?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a sports bar restaurant. We employed her for nearly 8 months, 9 months. And
now, you actually know her father?
Yes. Her father and I were colleagues at Pacific University. He's in charge of admissions, and I was a head track and cross-country coach there.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, her father approached me. He knew that we had a sports bar restaurant about the possibility of us hiring Amber to work for us. And Amber came in, and we offered her a job. When we offer employees a job, we have a job description. We have a policy manual, owner's manual that we have the staff sign off on, so they understand the rules and regulations. But before we even get to that point...
Did she sign off on one of those?
She does.
Do you have that with you?
I do. Okay, Exhibit E. There
Okay.
you go. So it's pretty simple, to the point.
Okay, so you have them all sign something that says, servers and bartenders, among other things, must ID anyone who orders alcohol who appears to be under the age of 30. Any employee who does not ID a customer who appears to be younger than the age of 30 and is drinking alcohol will be fired, no warning. Okay, good.
Okay, so that being said, that our rules are much stricter than the state of Oregon.
You know, honestly, you should just really ID anyone who looks under the age of 50 because there's nothing more flattering than getting ID'd at a bar. It's total flattery at this point.
We often do.
Anyway, so go ahead. So what happens? And the drinking age is 21 where you are?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So in any event, let's get to the point here. What happens?
So anyway, we had a patron who had come in. The person who came in is someone who Amber had ID'd, who my wife had ID'd, who I had ID'd, and several other of our employees had ID'd this person. And she was passing off a fake ID on all of us. It had passed me. I missed it. She had missed it. Amber, we'd all missed it. But she had been coming in for about 2.5, 3 weeks watching the NBA playoffs with a group of young kids, and they were all in their early 20s.
Like, do you now know that all of them were underage, or just that one?
We only know the one.
You don't know about the others?
Yeah, we don't know
They're not
about the
around.
rest of them because they weren't involved
Right.
with the investigation.
Why don't I hand the floor to you for 1 second, because when the event happens, it happens when you're there. Okay, you're the bartender, and what happens? This woman who you all have carded before is there, and do you card her that night?
I did not card her that night. We had recently been hiring new people, and so I was working 5 nights a week and closing by myself, and it was a Saturday night, and I had another group in that had a woman who was extremely intoxicated, and her friends were all okay, but she wasn't, and I was not focused on the girl over here who I've ID'd before, who's responsible, pays her bill, never have any problems with. I was more concerned with the girl over here who was intoxicated and her friends were trying to get her beer.
Okay.
So that was that night, and she was, like he said, she was a regular. She'd been coming in for a few weeks, and I had ID'd her multiple times.
Does anyone have a picture of her?
I do.
There's actually a picture of her in the investigative report, right? Does
Yes.
anyone have I want to see what you have and if it's better. Yeah. And when I say investigative report, it's because the state of Oregon got involved when something bad happened. She looks like she's 10.
Right. So why would I not card her in the first place?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I did.
But you didn't card her that night.
No, because I'd carded her so many times
So what's
before.
the policy? You don't card them every time? You're supposed to, though, right?
Well, no. They don't card everybody every time, and neither did I.
No, but what are you supposed to do?
You're supposed to card someone when they walk in, and apparently I was not aware of this, but
Not
apparently
when they walk in, when they order the alcohol, because that's a restaurant too. So
Correct.
so you're supposed to always card. So that night happens, and this girl ends up getting into somebody's car. How do you know whose car she got into?
She was with a friend who hadn't had any alcohol that night, and her friend was the driver, and I saw
How
them.
do you know that her friend was a driver? Did you physically see it?
I physically saw them drive away in the car because I was keeping an eye on it because I couldn't leave the bar because
So what happens? Those folks get into a car accident?
I don't know what happened after that.
Well, what happened?
Apparently,
How did the state find out? Something happened.
The victim, or the girl that Amber served, about 3 hours after the fact that she left the bar restaurant, was involved in a single car accident. And so
Was she driving?
Yes.
How old is this woman?
She's 19.
She's 19. She left the bar at what time?
She was cut off at 1, left at 2.
And she gets into an accident at what time? 5 in the morning?
3:30.
At
3:30?
3:45. The accident was at approximately 3:30.
So who called the state? The authorities that were at the scene of the accident called it in because they saw that they knew she was underage and intoxicated? She get a DUI?
Yes, she did. Okay, so we received all this information after the fact. According to the investigation, the accident occurred at 3:39 a.m. in Washington County, a few miles from where our business is located.
All right, so what ends up happening, though? The government ends up getting involved. The alcohol regulatory, what's it called?
The OLCC, the Oregon Liquor Commission.
Gets involved, and they do an investigation. They talk to you. You tell them what?
They asked me if I carded her, and I said, you know what, I don't remember. I was the only bartender on. I've carded a lot of people.
And did you remember, or you know you didn't?
No, I absolutely remember. I know
you remember that you didn't?
I remember that I did not.
Right, I got it. Okay. And then, so you end up getting fined.
Yes.
Okay. Have you been fired? I assume you've been fired.
No.
Get out of here. You people still work?
No, absolutely not.
She gave us, I didn't fire her because of the relationship I had with her father.
That's not what he told me.
Whoa, wait. I'm sorry. You quit. You don't work there anymore.
Right.
That's really what I meant. I was wondering if you were seeing each other every day. All right. So you end up getting fined. Are you and the father still okay?
Yes.
No, they're not.
How do you
Don't
know?
kid yourself.
Don't talk to him directly.
Sorry.
Have you talked to the father?
Not since the incident, but I have a voice recording on my phone regarding, because I wanted to work with Amber, and I even made a proposal with Amber to split the. I felt bad for Amber's situation because Amber had been going through some difficult times. She had been arrested for suspicion of DUI.
Your Honor, may I say something about that?
If you want to.
I would like to. I was arrested but not convicted. They dropped it. I only blew a .03. The legal limit's a .08.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let me ask you a question. You got fined personally by the Liquor Commission.
For the same issue.
How much did you get fined?
$525.
Did you pay that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you got fined $3,465 from the Liquor Commission.
There were 2 different citations that we received. One for serving a minor. We can only have minors in our establishment until 10 o'clock. So we received a fine for that. And then we received a fine for serving a minor.
Alcohol.
Yes.
So your fines were $3,465. And what you're suing for here today is that you feel that because it's her fault, she should pay the fine.
The fact that she knew what the policies were, she knows the laws in Oregon, and she also knows what the laws are required by our business. And she failed to obey those laws.
No, I understand that entirely. The problem I'm having, and I want to hear you respond to it, the Liquor Commission issues 2 separate fines, one to her for doing it, and one to you for employing somebody who would do it. The whole idea is that you ended up employing somebody who did it. That's why they're fining you separately. Otherwise, they just fine her. So why does she have to make good on that?
We felt that in this case, we asked Amber to work with us because we felt that we could have been exonerated in this case had she helped us find this girl who was using a fake ID. If we were able to come up with the ID that she used on Amber, on us, that we would have been able to become exonerated from the fine.
That's what you asked her to do, trace this girl for me, and she said, no, you're on your own.
Yes.
Okay, now you tell me what they asked you to do. According to you, they asked you to do something different.
They asked me to ask one of my friends, and they had one in particular in mind, to say in court for OLCC during their hearing that they were there that night and they saw me card her.
And you said to them?
I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to ask one of my friends to perjure themselves on the stand. And that's when they offered me the deal to work off the fine. And I told them, I'm sorry, I can't work for free. I have another job.
Welcome back to the People's Court, Harvey. 11 years. So should this woman, the bartender, have to pay the restaurant owner for the fine the restaurant owner had to pay?
I think so. I think it's the responsibility of the bartender, for sure.
Why is it the responsibility of the bartender? The bartender had to pay her own fine. Is the bartender also responsible for the restaurant's fine?
I think the buck stops at the top, but I don't know why they're being fined double.
Because each one did something wrong, although that's actually a pretty good point. Should the bartender have to pay?
Yes.
Why?
Because he should have carded him.
She should have carded him, is true. So it's not the restaurant owner's fault, it's the bartender's fault.
Yes.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Your Honor, we never made a proposal like that. We proposed to her, I said, Amber, we will not take action against you if you have a witness that saw you ID this girl, because your stories are not adding up with the Oregon Liquor Commission and with the police.
I don't understand. She said from the beginning, at the first conversation with the Liquor Commission, she told them, I don't remember carding her.
No, she said at the beginning, she told them that she did ID them, and she told the police that she ID'd them. And then...
Is that accurate?
I told them that I'd ID her multiple times, but I never said I carded her that night.
Okay, either way, look, here's where the problem lies. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to see your employee, is that your, why do you have that? Give that to me. When I'm looking at this, one of the things I was looking for, which you might want to consider putting in here, by the way,
sure,
is whether or not they have to indemnify you for fines for things that they breach. If your employment contract says to them, if this happens, you're absorbing it. Well, then they're on notice, so that if it happens, and frankly, it'll get them to make it not happen. If it happens, then they know they have to take the fine, but it's not in here. So what I'm left with is what's appropriate. I have a Liquor Commission that heard this entire story. I have her being fined separately. And then I have you being fined for having an employee that did that. The whole point of that fine is to make you hire people who are more careful than Amber is. And that's the design of the fine, to punish you for that. It's not something Amber has to absorb. I find in favor of the defendant.
Find out how surprised the plaintiffs are at the decision. Come on in here. What do you think?
You know, it's Oregon Liquor Commission, and the fact that You know, the bartenders can basically put a business in jeopardy by not doing their job.
You going to change your contract?
Oh, definitely change
What's
the contract.
the new wording going to say?
They will be accountable for any fines that we incur.
Okay. All right. Head around the corner right there. All right. Come on in here. Would you have signed a contract if it had made you liable to pay those fines?
Absolutely not. No. I get my own fine, and if they were that concerned about someone being carded every time they walked in to order liquor, they would have someone at the door. And that would have protected them and protected me.
Is this a problem, underage people coming in with a fake ID? How big a problem is this?
I'm sure I had a fake ID when I was underage. I'm sure it's a huge problem.
Pretty honest. Harvey?
Here's the deal. My parents owned a liquor store, and this actually happened to them multiple times, where somebody would come in with really good fake ID, and they looked like they were adults. It doesn't matter. In most states, if the store or the restaurant or the bar or whatever, if they serve a minor, even if the ID was really good, the store owner, the bar, still on the hook. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
The road to the NBA Finals ends here, with star guards setting the tone. The Cavs eye another upset, while the Knicks carry the dreams of all of New York. The Eastern Conference Finals continue on ESPN and ABC.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV. Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
Truth is ours.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
This is the plaintiff, Matthew Glaspie. He says he met the defendant through a mutual friend, and she needed someone to sublet her apartment. He moved in, spent countless hours fixing up the place, and just 14 days later, he was told he had to get out because the defendant wanted someone else to move in. He had no other choice but to move out, was left homeless, and lost his job as a personal chef to a preacher because he couldn't any longer afford to go to work. He's suing the heartless defendant for $1,100, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Paloma Diaz. She says first and foremost, she rented out the apartment to the plaintiff's girlfriend, not him. She was very specific, no boys allowed. She wanted a female renter because with females, there's less drama. Not only was a male living in the place, there was a dog too, and that's a big no-no with her landlord. Now the plaintiff's suing her for $1,100? Ridiculous, with a capital R. She's accused of ruining a renter's day.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Okay, Matthew Glaspie?
Yes.
You are suing your former landlord,
Yes, correct.
Paloma Diaz, for $1,100 that you paid her, and you think you should be returned to you because she sort of kicked you out. All right, what happened?
Well, basically, I moved into the apartment late July, around July 27, 26.
You dispute that it was that late, right?
It was July 21st.
How do you know it was July 21st?
That's the day that I moved out and they moved in.
Can you prove that?
Yes, I have a text message that states that they moved in.
Yes, let me see that. Could that be right, that it's a 21st?
Yeah, that could be right.
Okay, let me see the text message anyway, so go on.
I got the apartment through her aunt. It was supposed to be just my apartment. And then she wanted to live with me, but I didn't want anybody.
Who's she?
Her aunt.
The defendant or the aunt or your girlfriend? Who were you talking about?
It's his girlfriend.
Oh, your aunt is his girlfriend?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Is that in your answer to the complaint anywhere that it was your aunt? Wow. Where's the aunt now?
I don't know.
Well, she's your aunt.
She's not my biological. She's just a friend of the family. I consider her my aunt, but I don't know where she's at now.
And is she still your girlfriend?
No.
Okay. So the aunt wanted to move in with you, and what?
And I said no.
Okay.
So when I said no, they got a little like girl crew together.
None of this is in the complaint or the answer. I am fascinated. Go on. Go on.
So
I'm gonna make myself at home. Give me some popcorn.
So they came over and they was like, listen, Basically, either Catherine moves in, or you got to go.
Right.
So
that's why you said she wanted to move her aunt in. I just didn't realize that was your girlfriend at the time. So you say, well, then I'm out of here.
Yeah, I packed up my stuff.
And then what happens?
And after I moved out.
When'd you move out?
I'm not sure my dates. Everything's on here.
Dates are important here. So why don't you look at your phone and see if there's any evidence of when you moved out.
Gotcha. I moved out August 4th.
What did you just look at to decide then?
Oh, a text message when I was trying to get my money back.
And what does it say?
It says, I'm at work. What happened? No, not yet. I told you I'll call you as soon as I got the money. I said, all right. And
because I see that the aunt, who you were still going out with at the time, how are you still going out when she just declared war on you like that?
She had me in a little bit of a bind.
I know you were, because I see that Auntie Kat is texting you, give me my money. When can I come pick up the money? Everything's been moved out of your house. Except for that's not on August 4th. That text comes on August 24th. So why would your girlfriend wait 20 days to text the landlord who's subletting to her? You actually are a renter, right? Subletting to say, okay, everything's moved out, if it really was moved out August 4th. In other words, how can I trust your information that you moved out August 4th?
I got video.
Of you moving out on August 4th?
Yep.
Okay, let me see your video. What's your story, by the way?
Okay, so I'm leaving to Atlanta, so I told her that she needed a place to stay. So I told her that I'll give her the apartment, eventually put her on the lease so that she can stay there.
And then you told your aunt no boys?
I told her that no guys could stay there because it causes problems. So she was like, all right, I have the money for you on the 21st. Whatever agreement her and Matt had nothing to do with me, because I told her she could move in. She never said that. She said that she'll have the money for me. She never said it was coming from him. So then I was like, fine. So they came to my job, gave me the money order and stuff like that. So I said, okay. The landlord contacted me and said there was a dog in the apartment and a guy there. So I told her from the beginning, you can have the apartment, but he can't. He has to go. Then they was having a lot of fighting, a lot of arguments. I have voicemail messages with the arguments, him cursing her out. I have all of that information on my phone. So I said, you guys are causing too many problems.
At a minimum, if they're causing trouble, then you tell them, that's it, you're done. And so they paid the month. But I don't think that you're surprised that he was there.
No, yeah, he wasn't supposed to be there. She said that she was going to get the money from him and he wasn't going to live there with her. So I was like, all right, whatever you guys work out, just make sure he has to go. So she said, all right, he's going to leave, just give him back the security deposit. I said, if you're staying here and he's leaving, you give him the security deposit because you're still remaining in the apartment. So she was like, all right. So then I told him, you causing so many problems. I already got a complaint from my landlord. You guys leave by the 3rd. I will give you your security deposit back without a problem.
I know, but what you don't understand is that you don't have a right to keep it because they didn't leave by the 3rd. The only way you can keep it is if they end up staying there past the month. Because you would be taking it as rent, or if they damage something, then you would be taking it as the purpose of a security deposit, which is for damages. But you can't arbitrarily decide that 1 month's rent now costs $1,100 and not $500 because you told them to go and they didn't. You see what I'm saying? I never understood why you kept the whole thing.
Right. Well, the only thing that was supposed to be returned was the security, which is only $550. That was the security deposit.
Why didn't you return it?
And I was waiting for him to evacuate the apartment.
And then when did he evacuate the apartment? I know, but that already happened. He evacuated the apartment.
Yep. He claimed he evacuated the apartment, which I have a voicemail that states that he was still at the apartment. He didn't want me to come to the apartment because he had money and stuff landing around in the apartment, and that was August 14th.
Okay, let's get that. Wait, which phone is yours and which phone is yours?
The one to the left is mine.
One to the right is mine.
Okay, good. So let's give you your phone. Hold on, stay where you are.
Okay.
I'll give you your phone back and let me hear a message that says something.
Hey, what's up, Pete? This is Matt again. Could you give me a call before you come over? Because I got a lot of money hanging out around the house like that, and cash stuff is out there, and I don't want to get them out. So just give me a call, and I'll meet you at the house and then move stuff out. But, just, try not to pop up because I don't want
moving stuff out.
To mess up like before, like the mother two chicks that came over. I got some money. I'm on my way. You can get it out, and we'll go from there. Just call him to get a heads up so I can get this cat over there. I can get her out of here. All right.
Show me the proof that they moved in on the 21st.
Well, the text message that I send you to read, it tells her who told you to move out the 21st, so that's the date. She put, well, I moved in the 21st.
Okay, that's what I want to see.
Okay.
Can I explain that?
Yep.
Basically, they were getting into it, Catherine and
It sounds like it. I mean, I'm reading.
They were getting into it, and I didn't want them to get into it any further and fight. I was not at the house. As far as I'm concerned, she's supposed to give me my money if I moved out early. And you can see from my text messages when I moved out and when me and her was going back and forth.
Oh, I can see from your text messages you're lying about when you moved out. You said you moved out August 4th, and I can hear from the message you left on her recorder on August 14th, I'm moving stuff out, I got money lying around. You're not moved out August 4th. 10 days later, you're not moved out August 14th. I just have to figure out, see, it's important to me what day the move out was. It's critical because if it's the 21st, then you get to keep 1 month and you must return the other month. You have a right to keep it only if they stayed past the 21st. So to me, what is critical is, did they move out on the 21st? Did they move out before the 21st? Or by the 24th, or did they move out after that? You were saying you moved out the 4th, which I know is a lie because I just heard so already you're behind the 8 ball with me in terms of credibility. You were saying that I get a text from my aunt on the 24th. Your aunt is saying, I can't believe you. And she is very clearly saying to you, I moved in on the 21st, I moved out by the 21st. That's 1 month, give me the other month. What I don't get is, this is your aunt, okay? So why wouldn't you just sort of say, all right, let me just split the baby here, and I'll take the 1 month because they, and then give her a month. Why wouldn't you do that?
Because she was arguing with me, talking to me like I'm a kid, and I was like, well
no, she got frustrated when you kept saying, I'm not giving you money.
Voice calls. We were talking on the phone and arguing back and forth about this.
Okay, and then I'm supposed to look at your phone and watch video of you moving? Was that it?
Hey, how you doing, Yana? I only been here a week and a couple of days. Gave her $1,100 for this crib.
Well, so to prove it, you're such a liar. To prove it, you showed like a direct TV thing, but that could have been TiVo'd. You showed like the date of a direct TV thing. That's how you're proving to me that it's August 3rd. How do I know you didn't just tape that? And it's TiVo'd and it shows it. Oh, wait.
A week and 2 days, a couple of days. That's not $1,100. That's not even $400. That's not $500. That's robbery.
What are you, rapping?
Everything is gone. Help me out, Yana.
What were you saying about the text?
Yeah, I just wanted to go to the text messages, my text messages. Because I'm not too good on dates, Yana, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Quit some recess a second.
All
Take
right.
your phone.
So, would you do business with relatives?
Hell no, not after what I've learned by doing business with relatives.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you the whole thing, but I'm getting the drift. What do you think?
Possibly, yes.
Could ruin the relationship.
Not if you choose the right family member or business.
You never know until something goes bad. Would you do it?
No,
Why?
because it's complicated to work with your family.
Hear, hear. I'm with you, sister. Going inside the courtroom.
No.
You got some interesting stuff on your phone.
I knew.
Sorry. Hey, it's your phone.
Hey, but this is why Yeah, you just never know who's going to pick up your phone. I tell my kids that all the time because I'm the one picking up their phone. In any event, it's none of my business. What I did was I accidentally came upon a few things, but I took the phone because I know how an iPhone works, and I put it into the computer. I connected it to the computer. I didn't download any of your stuff, okay? But I put it in there so that I could just see that clip and when it was taped, fully expecting that clip to show me that he's a liar and that, he taped that on the 20-something and blah, 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 blah. No, he taped it on August 3rd. Of course, your stuff's not out. Your boxes are everywhere, so it doesn't mean you moved that day. But I'll tell you what it does mean to me. It means to me that you probably didn't move after August 21st. And I don't think you have evidence that they moved after August 21st. Your aunt says, your fake aunt says that she moved by the 21st. I've got pretty much everything boxed up on the 3rd, according to that video. So I'm going to order you to return half of the money, and I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $550. That's my verdict.
Judge.
So the defendant returns half the money to the plaintiff. What's your reaction to the verdict?
Nothing. I don't have nothing to say.
No? Well,
No.
how'd you wind up in court over this?
I just feel like it was done. They had a little scheme together, and that was it.
And what's the between you and Kat? What was going on between the two
Well,
of you
she's
there?
a friend of the family, and the apartment was originally for her.
You two wind up fighting, like you said?
We were arguing about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
You friends now?
No.
All right, right down this way. All right. So come on in here. She said she didn't want males in that department. Maybe she was right. That you wound up in court.
Yeah, it's a case of can't trust a big button smile.
Excuse me?
No, forgive me.
Harvey?
You know, when you are in a dispute with a landlord, document everything you can with emails, voicemails, whatnot. It served the plaintiff well here. It is just always a good idea when you're in a dispute. You don't know how it's going to end. Document it. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
People are full of surprises, especially when you travel together. Thankfully, Vrbo is not. When you book a Vrbo, you get Vrbo Care and 24/7 live support, so your house doesn't surprise you like your friends might. If something's not as described or doesn't work, Vrbo's there. Real people, real support, anytime. Book today on the Vrbo app. If you know, you Vrbo. Terms apply. See vrbo.com/trust for details.
This is the plaintiff, George Reyes. He says the defendant was friends with his son and was going through a rough patch in his life. He was once in the defendant's shoes, so he decided to help the guy out by buying him a car. He told the defendant he'd give him time to pay it off as he got back on his feet, and he eventually got his job back. Well, the kid hasn't paid him a dime, is trying to get out of paying off his debts, and he's here to teach the young lad a lesson and collect the $2,812.23 he's owed. This is the defendant, Denzel Givens. He says the plaintiff helped him out in his time of need and never told him he had to pay any of it back. The guy turned out to be a double-crossing hothead who showed up at his apartment and slashed 2 of the tires on the car. He also disrespected him, caused his wife and child to cry, and for all he cares, the guy can have his stinking piece of junk car back. He's accused of running out on a debt.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Okay, George Reyes, you're suing your son's friend, Denzel Givens, for $2,812.23 for damage that he did to your car when you were trying to collect on a debt for a car you bought him that he also hasn't paid for, according to you. Tell me your version. What's going on?
I met Mr. Givens around May of 2012.
How did you know him?
Through my son.
How long had they been friends?
They started working together this year. They just met this year.
Okay.
My son was telling me he was having transportation problems. He had one car, and the wife got into an accident, a hit and run, so now they were down to no car, and he was having transportation problems to get to and from work. He was on the verge of losing his job because of that. My son and I offered, he didn't ask us, we offered him assistance, and he took it. I took him to a car dealership. We bought a car.
Okay, I have to ask you why.
To assist him.
Why, though? I mean, it was somebody who your son had just met? Or
Yes.
your son really, really close to him?
No, they weren't really close, but...
I mean, I need to meet a better class of people. Because none of my friends would buy me a car.
Well, I mean, we saw his kind of world literally falling apart where nobody was stepping forward to assist him. Nobody in his life.
Except for that now you figured out why?
I think so.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, so you saw somebody in need, so you decided to shell out $1,400?
The point is, everybody needs assistance at one point or another in their life.
Absolutely.
And we step forward to the plate. I mean...
You know, I'd like to be able to say, isn't that great?
It is.
But I can't help but notice you're a litigant in my courtroom.
Yes.
So you didn't know him very well.
No, we didn't.
I haven't heard your side of the story, of course, but based on what you're claiming happened, it doesn't sound like you made a very good decision. So then what happens? You step up to a virtual stranger and decide to buy them a car, and then what?
I purchased the car. Denzel was with me at the time. We both went to the car dealership. I gave the money to the dealership. I put the car under his name. On top of that, I told him, when you get up on your feet, you know, start paying me whatever you can. I gave him 3 months. Around the 4th month, I was texting him, telling him what's going on. You know, you haven't paid me nothing. I mean.
And what did he say?
Text me back something about he had problems.
Do you have the text on your phone?
I have one prior to the 18th of October where we had a dispute.
So you start texting him when?
Around October.
And then his response to you is, I have no money right now, I'm having problems. And then you say to him?
I told him, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take it to a car title loan office where they lend you money on your car title. And I told him, look, whatever they give you, give it to me and we'll squash the rest.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about it. Just give me what you can get for the car and you could pay them.
Right.
And apparently he did do that. He kept the money.
How do you know he did it?
Because it's on the police report.
Really?
Yes.
So then what happens?
I didn't find out that he had titled off the car till after the incident on the 18th of October.
Okay, so, and it's because he's still not giving you any money.
Right, I went over there to repossess the car.
All right, so you go over there and what happens?
As I'm driving up there, I could see the car had a flat tire from the back. And it just so happens him and his wife were about to leave. Well, and that's when he saw me and he chased me down and I stopped.
Did he think you had flattened his tires?
Yes. Yes.
And you drove there with who to repossess the car?
Nobody, just me and my dog.
Well, was your dog going to drive the other car?
No.
So then how are you going to repossess the car?
I was going to have a tow truck come and pick it up.
So
I needed the address.
he walks out to his car, sees 2 slashed tires and sees you.
Yes.
You're the guy who's mad at him for not paying. Right. And he sort of assumes that maybe you slashed his tires. That's what he thinks. Kind of what I think, too. Apparently, it's what Douglas thinks because he's chuckling.
Yes, it does. But at the same time, I mean...
Anyway, so go on.
So we have a little dispute. He's angry, and he kicks my car. And
what's the dispute? You're in the car or out of the car?
I'm sitting in my car. I told him something like, well, you haven't paid me nothing. All you have to do, just pay me something. $10, $20.
So I don't feel like a fool?
Something like that.
Right.
And it just
sometimes when you do a good deed, you just got to do it and forget it. And by the way, did you get him in writing on that it was a loan?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else you could have possibly done wrong? I don't know.
Well...
Don't get it in writing. Pick the wrong person. You don't know him at all.
Right.
And then he ends up kicking your door in, doesn't he?
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, he kicks my door, and at that point, I call 911.
Okay. Can I see the pictures of the door? And while you're looking for that, what's going on?
Okay, what really happened was basically that he did buy me the car and he was trying to help me out in a troubling time. And I mean, yes, like he said, it was his idea. It was never my idea in the first place. And basically,
but you jumped at it.
I mean, you wouldn't jump at a free car, especially
well,
if you just lost yours.
Is it a free car or is it a car you're supposed to eventually pay back for?
Yeah, a free car.
Really?
Really.
They barely know you. Why are they going to rain a car on you?
I mean, you barely know me. Why would you loan me some money that, I mean...
But according to him, he fronted you money so that you could have this car and then start paying him. And he's certainly acting like a guy who you said you would pay because he keeps texting you and hawking you about the money and then shows up about the money and then probably slashes your tires about the money. So it sounds like you fully told him you'd be paying back and didn't.
Would you loan a casual acquaintance money for a car?
No.
Never?
Nope.
They were really in need?
No.
You would just not do it? You just tell them sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Hard, but smart. Going inside the courtroom.
No, it wasn't like that at all, ma'am, but it was just like, basically, like I said, he was trying to help me out in the troubling time, and he did. Some odd weeks passed, and he was like, George's car is having this problem, and...
George is who, your good friend?
It's his son. Yeah, we're not too much of friends right now because of all this. But
you weren't even that close a friend before.
Honestly, he's a good friend.
You said you had one text. Let me see the text that you have.
This was prior to the 18th when we had the fallout. He texted me on the October the 16th, stating he was going to take a title loan on the car and give it to me, and that's pretty much what it's saying. If it was a gift, why would he even give me any money?
I'm trying to see who will give me the most money for it and give you that and talk about the next step from there. Why do you do that if it's a gift?
Because, like I said, I told him I'd give him what I can.
Why? It's a gift. Why would you have to give him anything?
Basically because I didn't want to leave him in a stuck-out situation, like, because he didn't leave me in a stuck-out situation. And it's like, what goes around comes back around, so I wanted to make sure I put that in effect.
No truer words have been spoken. What goes around comes back around. And it's about to come back around. Because I think you are a liar. I think you were supposed to pay back that money. You went out and got a title loan, didn't you?
Basically, hold on,
and
let me say.
And then you put the money where?
All right, hold on.
In your pocket?
No, it was on the 14th. I had barely got the title loan.
Let me ask you a question. Why'd you kick the door in?
Because of the fact that he was coming trying to attack me. He tried to get out the car. The maintenance man and the management seen that we got into an altercation after he tried to hit my wife. So what would you do?
Okay, well, I wouldn't be in this position. But, okay, so if that's what happened, I need you to prove it because your credibility is garbage around here right now. So if there's all these other witnesses who saw that, you should have no problem. Call your first witness.
I can't.
Exactly. And so with someone else, I might be able to stand there and say, well, he sounds believable. I'm talking. But with you, I can't.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
how much did it cost you to fix the tires, though? Because I do think he slashed them.
It was only $30.
Yeah, well, I'm deducting $30 from your recovery. Let me see
this.
the report of what it's going to cost to fix the door.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I was going to sign the car back over to him. The first day I got the title loan. And the reason why I didn't give him the $300 is because I knew I was going to give him the car. After the incident happened, out of rage, out of anger, because of the fact that he disrespected me.
You know what? He doesn't want the car. What he wants is the money. Because I believe that is what your agreement was. We're done. Do not talk again. Okay? I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case and the entire amount you're asking for, except for the $30 that it cost to patch the tires. $2,782.23. Verdict for the plaintiff.
All right, so the plaintiff collects and the defendant comes out here into the hallway here. Step on in. How could this go so bad?
Honestly, she ain't even listened to what I had to say, so personally.
All right, so let's talk to the plaintiff coming out on the winning end of this case. What's your reaction to the outcome here?
Justice was served, and I don't appreciate her calling me a fool for doing a good deed. I don't think.
You would do the same thing again? With no paperwork, not really knowing the person you're sticking your neck out for?
No, of course not. No.
You don't think that's a little foolish?
A little bit.
All right then.
Okay.
Harvey?
So a lot of people wonder about this, whether something is a loan or a gift. Sometimes it's murky, it's in the middle, you don't know. The fact is, in most states, here's the deal. If it's unclear, if it's ambiguous, if it could be a loan and it could be a gift, the presumption is it's a loan because people generally don't give things. There has to be clear proof it's a gift for it to be a gift.